Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Today at the Races for this Saturday Winter Mardi Gras card. I'm Keith Hustel. Dan Illman is with me today, man. We couldn't ask for a better guest on such a solid card. I think today's card, from a betting standpoint, is really good. Dan Illman, everybody, if you're not familiar, our Daily Racing Form, Mid-Atlantic correspondent, but our Maryland analyst, and he just does a phenomenal job each and every day. If you want some in-depth coverage of Maryland racing, just look no further. Go to the Racing Form. Follow Dan's stuff. He's really good. We see the ball a lot alike, which is good. He gives me some confidence. But, Dan, glad to have you.
I appreciate being here. Laissez les bon temps rouler. Let the
yeah.
good times roll on Mardi Gras with a tremendous card. Barbara Fritchie, General George, highlighting a 6-stake card. These races have a rich history. Yeah,
they really do. And we'll get into that a little bit later. But look at this card. Highlighted the George, the Fritchie, 4 other stakes, $100,000, a Wide Country Miracle Wood, the Campbell, and the Nellie Morse. I tell you, we've got a lot going on the track, inside the track, in this building. Hey, if you're hungry, you're a little thirsty, you want a little cocktail, we've got it. The kids, we got things for the kids. There you go. The Mardi Gras festivities going from 12 to 5. New Orleans influenced food and beverages for purchase. We've got a buffet. Kids Zone interactive games. You see it, live entertainment. There's going to be some jazz music going on. Lots of prizes. So, yeah, if you can get out here, please join us for this great Saturday.
A little beignet, a little jambalaya.
Oh, a little jambalaya, a little gumbo. I think we got it all going on. Maybe some muffalettas down there at the pizza stand with Karen. And I tell you, if anybody is New Orleans in this building, it's all the way up top with our track announcer, Dave Rodman, from New Orleans. You know, we stole him from down there years ago. And I tell you, he kind of put me on to the city. Got my son down there playing baseball at Delgado Community College. I got the sporting a Delgado baseball shirt on today with the green and the gold. I need my purple, though, Dan. But, yeah, and it was great. I mean, talk about baseball real quick in Delgado. His coach loves the horses. I always call him up, got anything good at the fairgrounds. His father, who's passed away since, Rag Sherman, he was also a really good bettor down there in New Orleans. But, hey, we go no further. Let's take a look at this racetrack. Interesting. We had quite a bit of rain. This track I thought might have been completely dried out leaving here with that wind, but looking at it right now, harrowed. It was sealed just about a half an hour ago. A little bit of a back harrow. Dan, I'll let you talk about that.
Horse players have to keep an eye out for a potential bias early on in the day. Not only was there rain yesterday, freezing temperatures last night, no training this morning. A bias doesn't occur if logical horses do what they're supposed to do. But what you're supposed to be looking for in the first 2 races is if ridiculous horses do unexpected things. And then all of a sudden that should get into your mind and maybe change your handicapping down the road.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree more. A lot of people want to rush to a bias, Dan. And I even talked to him a little bit before the races. I really got nothing the last couple weeks on this racetrack. It's played pretty fair. We only note it if it's significant, and that's the key, because we don't want to fool ourselves and especially fool the bettors there. Let's get to the first race. We're going to roll through the first couple races today. A mile and a 16th. Maiden claim in 30s. These are the 3-year-old fillies variety. Kicks off probably the best bet in racing. The early pick for her, 50-cent minimum, 12% takeout. Gotta love it. It's Mark Lapidus' special bet in Maryland. He loves it. He said it plenty of times. But, Dan, I'll let you get started here. I thought this was a really tough race to get through.
It is a pretty tough race. My top selection, the 3-4 Crying Out Loud. We do have a trainer stat for Michael Trombetta, though, who's excellent with these kind of horses. Not only maiden special to maiden claiming, but when he also goes sprint to route. 7 for the last 16. You see the ROI. It speaks for itself. For Crying Out Loud, and I usually don't like stretch outs. I usually prefer horses cutting back in distance than stretching out. For Crying Out Loud, to me, looks like the kind of horse that's going to appreciate the distance. I don't think the trip worked out last time. 5 wide from the far outside post. The jock tried to get him inside. Split horses 3 wide. Finished evenly. A couple next out winners came out of that race. The 5th place horse won 2 in a row.
Yeah, we saw Celtic Rival come here and win, right? So, yeah, that was strong. The only thing I could find about for Crying Out Loud that concerned me was the distance. Looking at the bottom side, it's a little bit of a sprint lean, but that's a strong stat you bring to the table. A little flyer for me, the 4 Voodoo Mama Juju. Pay attention now. Rudy Sanchez Solomon Barn is back on track. 6 for 25, 24% the last 21 days with an ROI of 336. Benefits, little extra ground, closed up willing, and a time that's comparable to some of these other horses that have run at the 7A distance. A confidence move back up. You see anybody kind of making that that move from the back of the pack in here.
I'm not sure from the back of the pack, but I think the 6 Titian Tyrant has to be considered because last time out was in against a 1-to-5 shot Diamonds. If you do, Synergy's Electra came out of that race to win, and in that race, this horse got caught up in a little bit of a speed duel that day, dropping in class for the Red Hot Jerry Robb, getting Lasix for the first time. Good trips coming.
You got it. 3-6-7-5, 4-3-6-5 for me. A little shot there with Voodoo Mama. Juju, like that name. That's good. Okay. Race 2. Allowance, first level. Also, mile and an eighth here. Scratch the 2. Hatcher. I got an early pick 4 here. A very reasonable ticket, $13.50, 3 deep to get you started with the 5, 6, and 8. Luigi Spirit probably brings a little bit of value for you there. Hard Sting. Deep closer. We'll see if he can gain on this racetrack. Race 3 with the 1, 2, and 3. Race 4, we go 3 deep again. 2, 3, and 4. That's your Miraclewood Stakes. Wrap it up. I've got a single. The Jump Shot. I like this horse coming in for Parks. I think gets a little bit of class relief here. Good position outside. We'll take a stab with a single there. $13.50. Race 2. Dan, who you got?
Race 2, Nostalgic runs the speed. Nostalgic run's going to be the favorite based on his most recent performance where he was in against Doppelganger, a horse that's likely headed for stakes after a second-level allowance coming up. The problem with Nostalgic Run is this. We've sort of seen this act from him before where he goes to the lead, he looks home free, and then all of a sudden he gets a little bit weary. So if you're a Nostalgic Run fan at a short price, you're screaming wire at the 16th pole. He obviously could win. He's too short a price for me. I'm going to give Giordani one chance to get him, especially at this mile and an eighth distance. He's a real grinder. Yes, he finished behind Nostalgic Run last time out. Came to the outside in the stretch. I think this time around, if Nostalgic Run gets late, maybe Giordani knocks you out of the early pick 4.
Yeah, I know. You could see he was on there early and a late stretch just to try to make it a little bit more reasonable. I fear both Jamie Ness horses. Hard Sting is a horse I think is just – yeah, it's interesting. Staying with him off of a soft number last time. He's such a deep closer, but I think he might bounce back up with a good effort. I'll take a shot at a price with the 5, Luigi Spirit. Trouble trip 2 races back. You have this horse in the mix. Unprepared at the break. Came on late. Got another really good ride last time. I think that, things are just clicking right now for this horse. We talked about the barn. Hopefully Rudy's solid in the early double, but I think he can sustain that run and maybe doesn't need that pace help. A contested pace, because I don't think it's going to be contested. I think Nostalgic Run's going to clear. I think he runs his own race.
I think Luigi Spirit's the horse with the most upside potential in this race, not only because he's lightly raced, but because when you take a look at him coming out of the racetrack, he is a giant.
Yeah.
He should appreciate a mile and an eighth. You mentioned the barn stat. Here's another one. Rudy Sanchez Solomon, 3 for the last 10, $10.73 ROI with last out maiden winners.
I like it. That's why we're here. That's why he's here, guys. I tell you get this stuff every day in the racing form, and he'll lead you to the promised land with a lot of value, too, with those percentages that you bring to the table. Those stats are really, really good. We get things started off. The Wide Country Stakes kicks off our stakes action. 6 stakes, again, highlighted by the Fritchie and the General George. These are the 3-year-old fillies. Out to 7 furlongs today. Wide Country looking back, trained by the late Bobby K-Mac. What a racehorse. I didn't realize she won the Black Eyed Susan. If I'm not. Yeah. Pimlico Oaks and the Black Eyed Susan go back in 91. What a racehorse.
Tweeted out her PPs earlier today.
Oh, did you really? Okay. I have to kind of chase you on Twitter because I don't have Twitter. But and was also second in the Barbara Fritchie.
Yep.
So who do you have here? This I thought, L Street Lady going to be a shorter price. Can you beat her?
I wish I had a stronger opinion in this race. I believe we have a replay for L Street Lady.
Yes, we do.
We're going to watch her most recent start, the Extra Heat. And in that race, she dominated the field. I won't argue with anyone that says, A, L Street Lady's coming into this race is the best horse.
Right.
B, she has the most upside potential. C, she's going to get the best trip because there are 2 speeds to set her up. Yes. What I was worried about in this race is we're going to see she didn't change leads in the stretch.
I agree with you, Dan. I thought she was just kind of fully extended. And are you pushing it a little bit more today with this extra furlong because she's going to have to work. Cheekiness ran very well, a little straighter, more correct with the blinkers on, gave way grudgingly this last eighth of a mile. This is what we're talking about. Over to the left lead, L Street Lady. Yes, she gets by, but it's not it's not easily, I can tell you that. And she's going to have to make a move into Stonewall Star, who's going to be part of that flow as well.
Yeah, Stonewall Star is the key to this race because if she puts the heat on Chickiness, it sets things up for closers. It's possible that we've seen the best of Chickiness already. I'm going to give her one more chance because the price will be okay. She's likely to be the third choice in this race. But I have to admit, I'm going to probably lean on you. I like where you're going with Gormley's Gabriella.
Yeah, this is a little bit of a shot. They're kind of changing some things up. The blinkers go on first off the claim. I thought she was hampered a little bit on the 30th of December. I still have that marked down as a track. It was a little bit tougher to close on that afternoon. She had made two kind of moves in there. Was down on the inside, couple races back. I think she's okay here. I think she can grind it out. Speed just kind of runs away from her early. But she looks the type that can just kind of grind here. And at that 7-8, you saw how a couple of these other was laboring at 6. I thought Stonewall Star had everything her own way on the 30th of December here and couldn't quite get beat by a good horse. Don't get me wrong, Malibu Moonshine. This Gormley's Gabrielle and kind of that real stranger, Sally Sassy. Jonathan Wong never runs horses here. Why? Why is this one here?
That's a major question, and I think it's because Jonathan Wong, who is an astute trainer, understands that this one wants dirt. Looking at Wong, 8 for the last 23, 35%, 257 synthetic to dirt. This horse has been training over the poly track at Turfway, so you would think he has no idea. He likes this horse, obviously.
Yeah, I caught him the other day out in California moving a horse synthetic to dirt at a good price. I think the horse was 8 or 9 to 1. He's here for a reason, I think, and this one's going to love the flow that's in front. Comes out of a key race that Rousing Star came back to win again with a good number, albeit synthetic. Let's go to the 4th. Let's go to the Miracle Wood. Miracle Wood, another really good racehorse here back in the day for Ferris Allen. His dad, Bird Allen, family affair. Ran 117 times. Hickory was Miracle Wood.
No, Miracle Wood was some horse. They don't make them like that anymore.
No, you just don't see that.
You hope for 4 race campaigns.
Exactly. No. This is another one. I mean, Prince of Jericho has the target. Going to be the favorite. I've got him lined at 7 to 5. Do you try to beat Prince of Jericho here? We're going to look at this most recent race in the spectacular bid at 7/8.
Brittany told me before this race that she wanted Carol Cedeno to not let Coffee with Chris get away as they did in the heft, and Carol listened to instructions completely. You see Coffee with Chris, who was involved in the early pace. There's Prince of Jericho right on top of Coffee with Chris, doesn't give him a chance to breathe, and Prince of Jericho goes on and finishes the race off. I think this is the real Prince of Jericho, not the one we saw 2 starts back. I'm not going to try to beat him. I think he's the most likely winner on the card. I do think there are a couple of horses in this race you might want to consider underneath. Riccio, B West, we can talk about those.
Yeah, you actually got a little extra help, too. Things kind of developed, and a couple of horses went with Coffee with Chris that day, going to the wire and finishing. You compare L Street Lady to Prince of Jericho. I got a little bit more confidence in this guy, the kind of way he finished up there, getting this extra furlong today at the mile. I think he can move out and handle it. A little bit better price maybe there is Riccio, another big kind of a horse.
Oh, yeah.
Gets kind of the triple whammy here. Lasix back on, blinkers on, first time gelding.
This is a horse that's getting professional with each and every start. As you mentioned, he is a hulk. He weighed in at 1,273 pounds last time out. He's a horse that wants more distance. I liked him last time out. I liked that he gave a little bit of a late run. He's getting better. He's getting more distance. Now he needs some pace help.
Exactly. I think he'll bring a finisher. He ran well 2 turns at Delaware with some trouble. Back with the Jerry Robb barn. I think if anybody kind of makes that big jump, it's him. You're looking for a little bit of a price. I thought 7-11 ran really good with the Lasix on. Took some pressure. Final time, good. It was a 5th off of older 2 other than fillies and mares. It's still a pretty good group of horses to kind of compare final times with.
Don't be surprised if this horse goes to the front. I know Coffee with Chris is fast. I talked to John Salzman. He's concerned about the extra distance. Maybe they try to rate with this long stretch the 1 mile a little bit, just sit in second, and 7-11 gets loose on the lead. As for B West, if you watch the spectacular bid, this horse lost his action. I talked to Jerry Robb. He said the minute the dirt hit him in the face, he didn't like it, but he re-rallied for 3rd outside post here.
You've got an aggressive rider. The X-Man. He wants to be in the race, and he can carry him to the wire. Do you think the tactics will be applied pressure earlier from that outside? Because he looked like he was traveling well, then left the chute, and I don't know if there was a track there or something, and he lost that action. Do you think he'll kind of keep tabs on these speed types in
The
here.
key is get him outside. I think he sits third or fourth on the outside, but in the clear. You don't want that dirt kicking him in the face last time. He didn't like it. This horse likes a mile.
Yes, he likes a mile. He'll be fine there. Coffee Chris, the Lasix does go back on. He had it one time on the go back. Really good racer, feeling woozy. He's in improving horse. The Lasix and blinkers. He got back on his game in a big way. Dan, 3-2-5-1 in the Miracle Wood Stakes. Let's go to the fifth. Real quick, we're going to rifle through the starter allowance. This is my single, in my early pick 5, Jump Shot. Callie, she's got a pick 6. We're going to go through that as well. This starts the pick 6, right? Don't forget about that. 20% minimum, 20% takeout. She goes 3 deep with the 3 and 4 race 5. Spread-a-rama in race 6 in the John Campbell. That's a tough race. 2, 3, 5, 7, 9. She goes 3 deep in the 7th with the 2, the 4, and the 6. Dan, I know you like buy the best there a little bit in race 7. Singling. Fille d'Esprit in race 8, 3 deep in the 9th, and 2 deep in the 10th, wrapping it up with Spicy Margarita, Proper Attire. Kind of the main speeds in our nightcap for a $36 ticket. Callie will be here a little bit later, but fifth race. Who do you like?
Fifth race, I went with Free Square, and I'm worried that he's the typical last time was the time horse.
Okay.
Because he was cutting back in distance after just being a runoff 2 starts back going a mile. He was able to relax under Bryson Butterfly, didn't break very well, but got up to the outside and just really passed them all with a nice stretch run. Butterfly had his choice of 3 horses on the overnight in this race, including Top Boss, who's a major contender in this race. He lands on Free Square. You made him 9-2 on the morning line. That's good enough for me.
Yeah, this was a tough race to line for me. I think the favoritism, it could be really close between Top Boss, Free Square, and Jump Shot. I think you still have to look for a little bit of value. I don't think I take below 5-2 on any of these horses in here, but you talk about settled better with Butterfly. We saw his ride yesterday on Summer Odds from the back of the pack, just missing. But he's got a good position here. He's got positional speed. A reclaim here back in the barn for Lacey. God, that was a good effort. I go 10 real quick, Jump Shot coming in. I think he's run maybe against a little bit better horses. And those tracks at Parks recently, when that track gets sloppy, you can't close. That was the hindrance for him last time out.
You're absolutely right.
Yep.
That race is a complete throwout. It was a speed-favoring track. The majority of the horses that day won were within a length of the lead. They ran 1-2 around the track in that race, and this horse tried to come back for about 6 wide. Look at his prior form. It's good, and he's versatile. He can be close. He can come from far back. I like him at a price. I threw him in there. Maybe I should have thrown him up a little higher.
Yeah, I like his post draw here. I think with a good break, he just spies that speed because Dialing Dixie, I think, is going to go just to his inside, and a couple of these other horses want to be forward. Circling Move, I hope the 3 of the 4 paths okay because I don't know if he's going to be able to drop down inside and save some ground from that position. We want to hit a commercial break real quick, or we want to go after the 6, guys? Let's go. Let's take a commercial break. We'll be back for race 6.
Introducing the first racing tool from Pegasus to Preakness. Iconic venues. World-class racing. Millions at stake. New champions will be crowned. Only at First.
All right, we're back, rolling along through this Saturday Winter Mardi Gras card. Glad to have Dan Illman with me. Late pick 5 action kicks off in race 6, the John B. Campbell Stakes. Here's a look at Dan Illman's $24 ticket.
I have to admit, I had to rework this thing because I was really interested in the 6 Shake 'em Loose and was going to key my play around him. He is out. This race becomes a spread for me, and as you see, it sort of gets narrower after that. I think the key, though, in here for me is I'm going to try to beat a couple of horses that are going to be short prices. I'm fading Our Nation on Parade in this race, and I'm fading Fille d'Esprit as much as I'd like to see her win. I think these 2 shippers are going to be tough. So race 10, if you want to add another horse, if you're worried about a speed duel, maybe the 3, the Jamie Ness closer that we could talk about a little bit later on, you could throw her in, but I'm happy with this ticket.
I like it. $24. That's always kind of my magic number for my tickets here that I throw together. We keep it reasonable here at the Maryland Jockey Club. Callie, every once in a while, she'll try to, break the bank, but hey, that's the way she rolls. But now she hopefully she hits her pick 6 today.
Yeah.
Let's look at this John Campbell. I've got it up top. When I was doing the odds, trying to handicap wide open, inscrutable kind of a race to me. You've got a spread. You've got a demand value. You're on the 3, Treasure Trove, who just kind of all of a sudden got really good here for Lynn Cash.
Older half-brother Rombauer, winner of the Preakness. This horse has won 3 of his last 4, and he ran down a nice horse with a beautiful ride from Toledo last time out, where he dropped to the inside, turning into the stretch at just the right time, set sail after his stablemate, ran him down. This distance is perfect for him. He's in good form. It's a wide-open race.
Yeah, and he's a horse, a couple of races back, I remember, he broke a little slow. He was kind of keen and rushed up real wide early, premature move. He's settling in now and getting along, and they bring Gomez down, right? Is he still listed?
Yep, Gomez is still listed to ride.
So,
we got the 2 super apprentices from last year.
That's right. That's good to have. But we'll see what kind of trip he can navigate from down inside. I think he'll be somewhere 5, 6, 7 out of it once they leave the 5-ace pole home. I've got Nimitz class in here. We've got a video of that last race, right, in the Manfuso on the 30th of December. A couple of horses also out of this race. I thought this was a really, really good effort. Got away at 6-1 for this Penn shipper and trainer Bruce Kravitz.
Another great ride from Toledo, who realized this pace wasn't exactly fast, got him into the race a little bit earlier, and you're going to see him grind these horses down. He finishes ahead of 4 of these rivals he'll face here, and it's quite possible that this horse has found his niche in 2-turn races. He's 2 for 2 on dirt, going 2 turns. You see him grind down Our Nation on Parade here. This barn 5 for the last 19, 26%, 344 ROI. Last out winner is coming back on dirt.
I hope it's a little bit of a repeat, because I'm going to throw Ain't the Beer Cold in here. We talked about this one, sometimes races with the bar shoe. Down inside last time in that mile distance, I think that's a tough spot if you don't just break cleanly. He wants to be forwardly placed. He's going to be able to be forwardly placed in here.
He should be forwardly placed in here, and I think he's going to probably work out a good trip. I also think Vance Scholars is starting to put it all together, and I believe we have a replay from his last race where he was able to get right to the front. This is Vance Scholars. He kind of runs in spots in his races, but unlike in his prior starts, he took the turn a lot better. He stayed within range, and then when he swung into the stretch, he got to the outside. He ran down the exact same horse that the top pick, Treasure Trove, ran down at Aqueduct. So I think this horse fits.
Yeah, this is an interesting little trip here. You get the lead, you're kind of going along, and other horses say, you know what, things might be a little too slow. We want to force the issue. But I love the way Barbosa handled this runner, very mature-like, says, okay, guys, go ahead. We're just going to draft back off you a little bit at the 5-8s, and he's able to kind of work out the trip from the 3-ace pole home.
But in his last few races at this point, this is where he would be dropping back, and then when he got in the straight, he'd re-rally, but it'd be too late. I love that he stayed within range of these horses, and once Barbosa swings him out into the clear, he comes with a run. This horse has shown a lot of promise throughout his career. Dale Capuano liked him. Phil's got him now. Maybe this horse is finally reaching full potential.
I think so, and I like his draw here because I think, again, he'll get up and get into position and stay in the clear from that post. I don't think Ain't the Beer Cold, I think, is going to take him forward. Then he can kind of choose his path from there. Ran down a loose lead. A horse that had his own real momentum going there at the 3/16. This horse was stopped a little bit, had to shift out and came back on. That was an impressive run.
Tough to make 2 moves.
Yes, no doubt about it. Dan 3-9-2-10 in the Campbell. I'm going to go 2-8-9-7. Anybody else you want to touch upon in the Campbell?
You can go so many different ways. I'm going to touch upon the fact that Kelso won this race 60 years ago.
There you go. That's perfect. Let's move on. Race 7 to the Nellie Morse. The Nellie Morse, a mile and 16 for the fillies and mares, the older ones. And I tell you, Hybrid Eclipse last time, I think, is a horse that kind of got hampered by the racetrack. Going to take play here for Brittany. You've got her 4th. You're going to go for a little bit better price, though, here in Buy the Best.
Buy the Best is another stretch out, and I'm always concerned about stretch outs, but I think this horse was against the flow last time out in that stakes race at Parks over a sloppy track. They ran 1-2 around. This horse was the only one making up significant late ground. I think there is enough pedigree for me to think that she's going to get the distance. I think she works out a pretty good trip from close to the pace.
Yeah, she's run well over this racetrack. That's the key here. Is she more of a little bit of a one-run sprinter, or can she stretch and grind? Because I think she's going to have to do that. I think the 5's an interesting little shot here coming in from Parks. Seemed to be improving. A little break called a sloppy track. I think you're going to see Pennington aggressive here and try to go to the front. This filly seems to be moving in the right direction. My top pick, you've got her 2nd, is Award Wanted. We've got video.
We got video, and you can't ask for a better trip than this last time out. No. We watch Award Wanted in the Geisha, saving ground down towards the inside, waiting for the hole to open up, and good night, Irene.
There it is. It's over, gone, see you later. Opens up by 5 3/4 when it's all said and done. 3rd race back off a little bit of a break. She's got positional speed. She can handle the mile and a 16. She can handle 2 turns. I think she's in deadly form. I think she's got that ability to just sit, hound the speed if needed, and get the jump on a closer like Hybrid Eclipse.
She may not be the classiest of the pace players. Pistol is ablaze and has to prove it against these kind of horses. You're sitting just off her.
Yeah, you got it. Let's go to the 8th race, the Barbara Fritchie, one of our features here today. The Grade 3 Barbara Fritchie at 7/8 of a mile. I think you've got a couple shippers in here. Past the Champagne looked like she was going to be any kind, running against the likes of Malathot. Union Lake coming in from New York. Feed Esprit, though. This is the local favorite. I made her a slight favorite at 5-2. I think the favorite is going to battle between those 3. Let's look at this last race here. You say you're going to fade her a little bit off of this run on the 21st of January. Good effort here in What a Summer, back on her game outside.
Not necessarily off the run. She did everything perfectly in this race. A wonderful bounce-back performance. As you see, she just sweeps right by swaying to and fro, who a lot of folks thought had sort of taken the mantle of the best local filly and mare sprint horse. But just look at the X-Man riding this one. Just complete confidence in the stretch. Very, very impressive performance. But now she's going to be stepping up to face 2 shippers that are proven against open competition, and they face some pretty good horses.
I give this filly, this mare, I should say, a little bit that home court advantage. Will she bring that race back to the table? I don't know. That was really, really good. I think she likes to be sitting just outside of horses.
Great post.
And she is proven without Lasix. Okay, these horses in the Fritchie, the Greater Races, without Lasix, she ran a 93 on the go back, right, on the Fritchie last year.
Only got beat the length.
Yeah, had a little trouble in there as well. So I think I give her a slight edge. I'm going to have her on top. Let's talk about your top selection, Union Lake.
One of the keys to this race is Union Lake as good without Lasix as she is with? She is 3 for 3 with Lasix, 0 for 3 without. I talked to John Terranova about that disastrous-looking line in the Raven Run. He said there was an excuse in that race. John Velasquez got off and said this horse was down inside in the pocket, kind of brushed heels with the horse in front, and immediately didn't like it and basically was eased. Ran well enough in the Prioress. 3 starts back without Lasix that makes me think she can step without it. And I like the way she ran down a sharp horse, Rosa Valache. Came back to win with a 91 buyer.
Do you think she's going to be right up on it, or just going to let a horse like Lescolvin maybe go ahead and go, and even swaying to and fro, who's shown a lot more speed of late?
That's the key. The key is, I think, she sits 3rd off of those horses with Feed d'Esprit perhaps looming right outside. We might know at the 3/8 pole when those 2 start sweeping who's got the momentum.
I agree with you. I think this is a really, really good race here. I think Prodigy Doll is got a big shot. I think she's another one, 3rd off the break. A good number without Lasix. Last time got set up. You see the comment off of a duel, but Surge, when I give that comment, it's a visually impressive run to me. She made it. I think she's going to be loving what she sees up in front of her come mid-turn.
And I think Past the Champagne has to be used, cutting back in distance. I think she's better sprinting. Her first race off of a lengthy layoff last time out. She got caught up in a speed duel. She won the duel. She lost the war. The horse that beat her's running in a graded stake at Gulfstream today.
Okay. Now, the only thing I can say about, I did go back and look at that field. That winner recently just improved.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because if you go through the rest of that group, they weren't stellar. I mean, I think she's gonna have to be on her game and come back, but I like her at the 1 turn. You're right today in the Barbara Fritchie. I'll use her underneath. Let's go to the 9th, the General George. Wow, okay, 250,000. Going 7/8 of a mile. This is another crack field. Great job by our racing office, by our racing secretary. Factor it in. Does he maintain form?
I think he's going to maintain form. What's to say he's not? We've got a replay of his last race, and he could do it either way. He went to the front 2 starts back in 1. Just had another comfortable trip in here. With his tactical speed, he can work out these kind of trips. Sitting off the duel, swings to the outside, gets it done. He's just in raging form right now. And I think he kind of likes Laurel a little bit. 8 for 12 on his last 4 here.
How about it? When he shows up at Laurel, he just wins. And he's been doing it, like you say, any which way you need to ride this horse. He's going to say, okay, I'm going to do what you want me to do. And his spy spot outside is perfect here today with the likes of Pirate Rick, John the Bear, even a Baron. Baron, a really troubled trip 2 races back when behind factored in. But again, Baron down inside is going to have to deal with a lot of heat up front.
And he might be at his best when he is on the lead. He did get a good confidence-building prep last time out. He's going to try to pull off the rare de Francis General George double.
Huge. Okay. Eastern Bay.
Yeah.
Let's talk about him. And we all, the kind of the talk lately about Norman Lynn Cash has been running his horses back. quick. This is the way this guy likes to do it. This one coming in a little fresh.
He's coming in a little bit of fresh, and his last race in the Bold Ruler, it looked like he was going to win. He sat off a fast pace, swung to the outside, had all the momentum, and maybe just hung on the money, but he did finish ahead of 4 next out winners, one of them a horse by the name of Factor It In. Now, he was on the, I think he ran down in that race. He's been on the vets list. I think this is a horse that's going to get paced today. Yeah. Cash likes to claim horses with back class. This horse has back class. I think he's running on late because his stablemate, Pirate Rick's going to be making the running, and I'm not sure about 7 for him.
I agreed. I think he's got a couple of horses in here that he's going to have to deal with. I want to see it if he can carry it to 7/8. But Eastern Bay, still maybe a little bit of moisture in this racetrack, and that horse loves an off track. You see that wet track 7 for 11, 8, 7, 3, 4. For both of us. Identical picks there in the General George. Let's wrap it up in the 10th. I tell you, a good card, a long card again. Racing office, great job. Eleanor Albert, stakes coordinator. So it takes a team to put together a card like this. And we're going to get this thing finished. Race 10, a little starter here. Scratch the 1. Bandits Worth, scratch the 5. Miss Casey, you like Jerry Robb, Proper Attire.
Proper Attire is helped by these scratches. There were 4 speeds, now there's 2. And she is one of them, and she's the outside speed, which gives the jockey options. Spicy Margarita is the other speed, the number 5. I think she just sits off the pace. She's been in good form right now. I think Proper Attire might have been helped by a speed bias last time out, but she's just in very good form. I think your top pick, again, is the horse that I would add if I needed to add another, because the race flow is coming, and it wasn't there last time.
It was not there last time, and I'm just hoping Spicy Margarita can carry Proper Attire a little bit longer. Those two carry that battle, and lurking would be Peyton Elizabeth, a reclaim for Jamie Ness. Even Italian Dressing could work there to close in. That's your 10-race card. Mardi Gras Saturday here, the Winter Mardi Gras at Laurel Park. We've got best bets coming up. Who do you like? Best bet?
Keith, you stole my best bet.
I know.
I was going to go with Factor It In.
I actually glanced and looked. I said, okay.
But you sent it in before me. I think I sent my best bet in before yours last time out. So we're even, Steven. Instead, I'm going to go with Buy the Best. I know she's stretching out. I think this is a field she can beat.
Yeah, and you're going to get with that best bet a little bit of value.
Right.
So,
and again, I couldn't go with Prince of Jericho, who I think is the most likely winner, just too short a price.
Factor in, I'm hoping I can get no less than 2. I don't think I'm going to take any less than 2 in this race. Value play?
Value play, Giordani, knock you out of the pick 4 early on. Simply because I just don't trust the speed, who can obviously win that race. I think Giordani might drift a little bit because he was beaten by that horse last time. He runs late.
All right. I've got Gormley's Gabriella in race number 3. First time for cash. Hopefully can rally into it. Blinkers on hasn't been a real good angle. A lot of offers there. But Gormley's Gabriella, I think, is going to get a good little setup and like this 7/8 today. That's it. Program changes and scratches up to the roof with our man from New Orleans, Marty with the party, Dave Rodman.
Good luck.